And in the midst of all of that, they have still been able to eke out, some of the greatest advancements in human history. Right? They've built their society and climbed to the top of. And most economists will tell you that China is at the top of the pecking order now. They've done it without war. They've done it without invasion. They've done it without bombing and blowing people up and covert operations and disrupting other societies. They've literally built a legitimate threat, in my opinion, to the balance of the world. And as people in America and Americans, a part of American society, we have been misled. I've been trying to have that conversation with people that I know who have influence, who have power. And it's, people are like, yo, are you serious? I'm like, listen, man, you know, China is going to eliminate poverty this year. I think I read this like 1.6% poverty in China with 1.4 billion people, right? They've made an effort to address the way that human life is actually governed, right? And they've made a serious attempt to figure out the best way in which they can get and make their citizens as productive as they possibly can be. That's why they can build 11-room hospitals in 10 days, like they did with at the beginning of the COVID outbreak. So we are just dealing with something that we've kicked the can down the field. We've tried to use these Red Scare tactics, and we've tried to use the propaganda to keep nations at bay. But it's not going to work against a deliberately organized country like China. It's just not going to work.
I think the system in the United States, economically and politically, has just not responded to the pandemic with the restrictions and the policies necessary to protect human life. And that's because ultimately there is no centralized public health system. There is no social safety net for people in the United States, especially American workers. And so ultimately, all of the mixed messages from the Trump administration has only served to sow confusion over just exactly what people need to protect themselves. There are so many examples of this double standard where the United States, and especially its political leadership in both parties in Washington, proclaim themselves to be the arbiters of American exceptionalism and these ultimately the arbiters of democracy around the world. And what we actually find in the United States is that there is such a contrast between what the US says it is versus exactly what people are going through here. And ultimately, a lot of the things that the United States says about other countries like China are more so true in the United States.